Just as soon as you get it, get as many people in as you can. It is again another opportunity for begin again. That's right. Beginning to start again in your next time or second time around relationship, if you will. I'm Dr. Ray Johnson.
I'm Alitash Kebebe Johnson.
Here with my lovely bride. Spending some time together, talking just a little bit. As soon as you see it, go ahead and share it. Grab as many people in as you can. You know, honey, we've been doing this for a number of months now and spending some time talking with people. And we've really been giving out some nuggets and some advice and trying to help people kind of really understand what it takes to begin again in a second time or next time around relationship. And so I figured tonight that we would kind of take a different twist, if you will. What you see right behind us, that is our actual cross that we put together as a part of our covenant ceremony.
Our unity cross.
Our unity cross. And what it means is about being able to maintain the sense of unity and connectedness in your relationship. Vic, good to see you, man. Share this real quickly. Grab a couple of people, get them in tonight. Glad that we could be able to host everybody. I'm going to share it in just one more place and we're going to get started. Got to make sure that all of the Walk of Dominion is in. Have you shared it to Dominion there winning yet?
Right here. I hit the button.
How in the world did you beat me in the shed? My goodness in here. There we go. I got them. So yeah, glad that you're able to tune in, making sure that you keep up with us on tonight. So listen, we've been having this discussion, like we've said, pretty much for the last little bit more than a year. We kind of got started last summer, so we're beyond the year now. Yeah. We kind of got started last summer, so we're beyond the year now with this.
Okay.
And being able to pull this together. And so we look at it from the standpoint of things that we've learned along the way, how we've grown. And so by no means are we perfect in any of this, but we do believe that we are, as you can see on the side there, blessed beyond measure.
Beyond measure.
Be able to walk together. This was a choice that we made to enter into this. And so, you know.
I was hoodwinked.
Bamboozled, let us straight. No, she wasn't. No, not at all. Because she is indeed blessed beyond measure.
Amen.
So what we mean by that is that, you know, honey, a lot of times when people are coming together and these begin again relationships, what they're finding is there's so many do's and so many don'ts and so many opinions, and if you do it this way, if you don't do it that way, and in particular for me, there is one going to be a taboo subject we're going to touch on tonight. Some things you don't do because of certain industries you're in and certain positions that you're in and that sort of thing. But really, there is no one-size-fits-all approach.
That's true.
And so when people are engaging with each other, you know, there are rules to engagement. And so when we think about rules to engagement, really we're talking about what's going to be the boundaries, or what's going to be the strategies, or what's going to be the goal whereby which you are coming together in this context and the second time or next time around relationship and beginning again. And really what we're saying is, what's the playbook?
All right.
That's what rules of engagement means. What's the playbook in terms of how you all are engaging with each other? Yeah, you got to bring them in there because it's Monday night. You know, men are getting ready for that. Sheila, good to see you. Glad you're watching on tonight. So there are some rules of engagement before you begin to try this. Because it's not for the faint at heart. You got to make sure that you're going to be playing by the same set of rules as you're engaging with each other. So I've got eyes tonight. When we do this, we never talk about what it is or the alliteration that each other are going to use. So I'm going to yield yet once again. I'm going to let you start tonight.
Oh,
and
really?
then I'm going to let you start tonight, ladies first, and then I'm going to come back around the mountain with some of mine.
Okay, well, my first alliteration, I used the letter P.
Loose P.
I just happen to like the letter P.
Look at that.
It could have
right
been
there.
anything, but I used the letter P.
And
so my first P was partner.
Right.
If you're going to engage in another relationship or in a second time around relationship, or you're going to begin again, my first P is partner. Can you see that person as your partner?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be a power struggle between the two of you
good.
for the remainder of the time that you're together? Because you can you have fun, in the dating part of it, but when you get down to the deep depths and grit of it, are you partnering with this person, or were you just showing one side of yourself while you were dating, and then when you've engaged in the actual marriage, all of a sudden, well, no, I don't really like that, or no, I really don't want to do that, or that's not really who I am. That which means some authenticity may have been kind of left off in the beginning. We kind of presented ourselves a different way. But can I partner with this person? Can I see myself partnering, or am I going to be struggling for the next however many years we're going to be together? So my first P is partner.
Now, of course, I've got eyes, and y'all know that I'm a P-point preacher. But what I'm gonna do tonight is I'm gonna use my eyes rather than the P's there to be able to engage in. But I'm gonna just slip this in. This isn't one of mine, but I'm gonna slip it in since you said about partnering and about a lack of authenticity. Really, a lot of times when people are in the dating phase, they bring their imposter.
That's true.
They bring the imposter to be a part of the kind of wooing process.
And why do you think that is?
Rather than bringing their authentic self. A lot of times because you want to be able to hide some of your deficiencies and hide some of the areas of if the motivations aren't pure. And you've got to really be able to understand your why of why you're engaging in this, which leads me into the very first I for me tonight, along with that, really is identity.
Yes.
When you really think about beginning again and coming into this relationship for the next time around, you've got to be able to ask the question, and I put the phrase all the way together like this: what's the corporate identity?
Right.
What's the I? What's the why about why you're doing this? Because you've got to have something to go back to that becomes the goal and the aim of why you're focusing in on this to do this. Because by the time you do all of the next I, we'll talk about in a second, you've got to make sure that you understand why I'm engaging in this in the first place. So there's got to be a set of rules, and you've got to have an understanding. When I say set of rules, I'm talking about rules to engagement, and you've got to begin with that why, and that why begins with identity. Who are we together? And all the different facets of life. Who are we together? Go ahead.
That's a good point. But sometimes we can't even find out who we are together because we don't know who we are individually. And single, in it, that word itself means whole. And you want to be whole coming into the marriage. It's not, oh, I found my other half and now we're going to be whole. No, there needs to be healing, and there needs to be some completion on the inside so that you're not sucking the other person dry to find out who you are. So there's got to be an individual identity and then that corporate identity.
And here's the thing: when you start talking about that individual identity, does the individual identity of who they are fit well with who you are? And does that you and them create a we?
And that's if you're showing your true self.
You got to show your true self. You can't come with the imposters because you're spending too much time. You've been through too much. You've gone through breakups before. You've already accumulated debt. You got children. You have things that are there. You've got to make sure that you're operating with a clear sense of the why. That begins with identity. Go ahead with your number 2.
My number 2 is pray. Can that individual pray? And when you come together, can you pray? And some of it you see when you're in the dating phase, whether or not they stop and pray over their food, whether they say, I'm going to pray about this decision, or before we make this next move, let's pray together. Let's seek God together. There's something very beautiful about prayer. It opens you up to God, but it also builds intimacy between the two of you. So does that person have a prayer life? Because sometimes when you meet them and you see them operating in, we're going to keep it in church for a minute, but you see them operating in a certain gift or operating in a certain way in church, or maybe even in professionally. But when they come home, they're a totally different person. So does this person have a prayer life, and does that prayer life manifest in their natural life? Does it flow over into their day-to-day decisions? So just because somebody prays over their food, or they pray before they go to sleep, and now I lay me down to sleep, I pray to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord. That don't work that way. And if you're on you got a sickness or a diagnosis, you want somebody who can pray and call on God for you.
You messing with my third one, but I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna come get it in a second. Which is to say, a lot of times, more so than men, women will do. And I said it, missionary dating. If he doesn't have an alignment with God before you. He certainly isn't going to have an alignment with God with you, because he's called to lead the household with his spirituality first, before he does with finances, or before he does with guidance, before he does with counseling and all that kind of stuff that comes in there, intimacy and all of those kinds of things. He's got to be able to make sure he's aligned with God first. So if you can't tell that he's got an own individual prayer life prior to you, you can't expect, ladies, for him to have one with you, because he hadn't learned how to be able to get into the presence of God on his own by himself. That's critically important. Yes. Which brings me to the second one. Here's my second eye. You got to do the investigative work. You've got to sit down and you've got to have the conversations, the tough ones. Mm-hmm. You've got to talk about another eye, which in this on tonight, but I'm going to add it in. You got to talk about the income. Okay. Mm-hmm. You got to talk about the issues of the past, because you're not the one, the other person that you're coming out of the relationship with, all of the issues are not theirs. You've got some yourself that you've got to make sure that you're willing to address. Lay all the cards out on the table. See where you are. Because listen, 9 times out of 10, and beginning again, second time, next time around relationships, when you're doing this around for the second time, and for many people the third time, because some people do that, yeah. you already in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. You don't have a whole lot of time to waste time or to play around and mess around with this. You've got to have an investigation, and you can't be withholding. You got to lay all the issues out and lay them out in detail, and don't surprise somebody when they get in and go, oh, I didn't really know and realize it was all like that. Okay. But now, no, you got to lay it out there. So do the investigation work, and that's really what the dating season is about. The dating season is really about the investigation process of you walking through this to kind of figure out what this really is all about. So
yeah,
this
is to do it on the front side.
Then have to do it on the back side. That's right. So listen.
Did I say that right? Do it on the back end?
No, do it on the front end, so you ain't got to do it on the back end, because a lot of times on the back end people tend to pull the part because they haven't done the investigative work, and you've been through too much to be going through all that again. Listen. This is second time around, or beginning again. I'm here, Dr. Ray Johnson, with my lovely bride. What's your name is, girl? What's your name?
Alitash. Johnson.
Alitash Kebebe Johnson. We are saying that you can do this and be blessed beyond measure. You're looking at our cross that we put together in our covenant ceremony that reminds us of the servitude and the sacrifice that's necessary in order to cause this to come together and cause this to work. So tonight we're talking about the rules of engagement. And so far my wife has said you've got to have partnership. It's got to be authentic and real. And then you've got to have prayer. I said that you've got to make sure that you understand what your identity is. And then you've got to do the investigative work. Come on with your number 3.
My number 3.
Yeah.
What kind of pursuit does that person have? Are they pursuing God? Are they pursuing goals? Are they pursuing their dreams?
Yeah.
Is there a passion on the inside of them for pursuit? The reason why I say pursuit is because after, in the dating scene of it, we do a whole lot of pursuing, especially, the guy will do a whole lot of pursuing and trying to do things to get our attention or do things to keep us, interested. Does that pursuit, you want that same pursuit that they have, that fire, to start to manifest in the marriage.
Yeah.
So if they start maybe after second, third date, kind of pulling back and not showing the interest or not showing the fire, you have to wonder what kind of consistency is in this person.
Right.
Because after we get married, I don't want to just come home and find this person sitting on the couch not doing anything every day.
Right.
What kind of pursuit? I want to
What's
date.
that drive?
Right. I want as spouses, we want to continue to date, continue to have that fire, continue to have the interest, so that we don't get, it's not that we get bored with one another, but that we don't take people for granted or take each other for granted, because that's so easy.
Yes.
It's simple things that you can do. You can date on the phone, just spark their interest. I can't wait to see you when you get home.
Yeah.
Or, have a nice dinner ready, or even, flip it around, flip it and do some interesting things.
I wasn't going to say something, but I was, this is a borderline Christian show, so I can't use that new edition.
All the way Christian.
Which is to say, I mean, if you're going to do that, what was that P again? I know pursuit. Yeah, being in pursuit. Listen, men and women in the pursuit, we're wired differently. And so men are moved by what they see in the eye gate. And a lot of times women are known for this. They get all doll babied up, got the hair looking nice, got the lipstick on, got everything on.
Now, y'all know he jokes me when I take this ponytail off, right?
Then all of a sudden you look around the corner and you see Medusa way around. You're like, where is the woman that I was with? What in the world? And men, y'all ain't no different either, brothers. Come on, I ain't gonna leave you out. You get all cologned all up and freshed all up and everything. Next thing you know, now you putting on the super saved, sanctified, holy underwear. That ain't cute. That ain't sexy. No. You don't want to brush your teeth, wash your face, put some cologne on. Look good for your woman. Make sure that you're continuing to be engaged in presenting your very best self to them so that the pursuit can continue. Because what you use to make the catch is what you got to use to make sure that it's steady. That would be my part. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over your pursuit thing. Go ahead.
No. That's good because you want to keep dating. And the point really is you want to keep dating throughout your relationship. Yeah. You want to keep finding that spark, finding those moments, or even going back and saying, hey, do you remember here? Going back for a walk in a place that you walked before. There's nothing more romantic than remembering things about the other person and, and celebrating the other. Because you don't want to be in that situation where somebody's just simply tolerating you and tolerating your existence. You want to be celebrated and you want to celebrate the other person. Right.
That is so good. So good. If you haven't shared this, these are real, genuine, good nuggets for the rules of engagement in a begin again, next time, second time around relationship. I hope this has been helping you tonight. Come on, I'm coming in, rounding around, landing the plane with another eye tonight. I started out with making sure that you got the identity, doing the investigative work because it's necessary. And I would say this now, I had to put two words together to get this one right here. Okay. You've got to have infrared vision. Oh. Infrared vision. You've got to be able to see beyond the condition of a circumstance that somebody is coming out of, and look at the root cause for what it was that caused them to be in that. Because sometimes we can label people based upon the condition of their experience. Right. And without an infrared tunnel vision focus, if you will, you can misdiagnose where somebody is. And you've got to be able to see beyond the surface. And so that infrared, to me, infrared causes you to be able to, see beyond the solidarity of a substance. And sometimes the issues of our life can build up. Builds up, and you've got a night vision that you've got to be able to see with, and you can't get that. Watch this. Let me just wrap it all in together. You can't get all of that until you first have the prayer life. Because the prayer life enables you to open up and see the possibilities, whether or not this person is a real partner, so that you can do the pursuing while you're doing the investigative work to determine what the identity is, all based on infrared. My God, Annie, I could keep going on and on and on and on and on tonight. But listen, we hope that this has been a blessing for you, and making sure that you know that you can be blessed beyond measure if you're willing to make the services and the sacrifice with the nuggets that we've given tonight. I'll give you the last word. I done talked enough. Go ahead. You got the last word tonight.
Just like this unity cross is behind us. Unity, sometimes I heard a pastor say, is the hardest state to reach, is that state of agreement. But it is in unity that God commands the blessing. I say it all the time. But it's in unity where the Lord commands his blessing. And so you want the blessing of the Lord in your house. And that comes through unity. So you want to go through all of these rules of engagement. I'm sure there are many more.
We got a whole lot more.
That a whole lot of people can suggest. You can put them in the chat. As a matter of fact, you got some other ones.
Put them in the chat.
I encourage you to do so. But you want to be able to reach that state of agreement and have a life that is blessed and worth living and exciting to wake up to. You don't want to be in that power struggle every day of your life. You don't want to misdiagnose and think that you saw something that you really didn't, or didn't see something and then it manifests later. You want to be prepared as you go and take your time and do it. Because God is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Seek God in it. Seek God in it, because his way is always the better way.
What you saying, girl? You say you got the prize in me, or I got the prize in you, or we got the prize in each other.
We got the prize in each other.
So listen, bid it begin again. Make sure you do it. It's possible. It can happen for you.
Yes,
use these rules of engagement as you prepare to get involved and get engaged in that second time or next time around relationship. Make sure you share this with a friend. We'll be back in the month of November. We're getting real close, girls. Yeah, Thanksgiving is coming.
And anniversary's
coming up. See, look at you about to forget.
I wasn't going to forget.
I don't forget moments that are precious and important. Man, you can learn something about that. All right, we'll see y'all. We've been talking too much. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.